Segment 2, Intellectuals and Economics. We've already touched on this. 2 quotations. Number 1, Paul Krugman, quote, "Rising income inequality isn't new, but what happened under Bush was something entirely unprecedented. For the first time in our history, so much growth was being siphoned off to a small, wealthy minority that most Americans were failing to gain ground even during a time of economic growth," close quote. Second quotation, Dr. Thomas Sowell in Intellectuals and Society, quote, "The statistics that the intelligentsia keeps citing are much more consistent with their vision of America than the statistics they keep ignoring," close quote.
That's a tough one to encapsulate, but the basic confusion is between statistical categories and flesh and blood people. It's true that if you look at the percentage of the income that went to the top 20%, and some year A, and then later on, a decade later, you'll find that that percentage has gone up. And you say, well, that shows a disparity between the people. But
the rich are getting richer.
The rich are getting richer.
Right.
But when you follow statistics generated by the Internal Revenue Service, which can follow particular individuals over time, you find that people who are in the bottom 20% of taxpayers in the first year, their income is nearly doubled by this later period, while the income of the people who are initially at the top is increased by less. And if you get down to the very top, it's actually going down. So that people are simply moving between these brackets from year to year. And the number of people who are in the bottom 20%, let's say in 1975, who are still there in 1991 is 5% of them.
Really?
29% of them have already gotten all the way to the top. An absolute majority are in the top half. And so you're comparing what happens to these abstract categories rather than what's happening to actual flesh and blood people.
So there's an enormous amount of churn and dynamism within the American.
And almost everybody's own personal life. I mean, look at what we